Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Rachel Manley, and I am connecting today from New York City in the iEARN-USA office. I work for iEARN-USA on the education team. I am also joined today by my colleagues Nicole, Sydney, Julia, and Jennifer on the education team who are helping make this event happen. We are very excited to be hosting a day-long series of project exhibitions. We had a successful first session at 9 a.m. this morning, and we would like to formally welcome all of you here for our second session. This event today will showcase inspiring project work and outcomes achieved by iEARN classrooms around the world. Today you'll hear directly from educators and youth about their iEARN projects and their final products. Before we begin, let's go over a quick review of some of the features in this Zoom webinar space so that all attendees can navigate and participate seamlessly. Most importantly, you will want to be able to access the chat box. So if you have not done so already, please find the chat box. Once you have found the chat box, make sure your messages are going to all panelists and attendees. So you will notice there are a couple of options. You can send your messages only to the panelists, and you can send your messages to all panelists and attendees. Please switch that to all panelists and attendees so that everybody who is attending will be able to see your messages and communicate. Feel free to ask questions in the chat box, to discuss as the projects go along. We would love to hear from you. And I see many people who are typing introductions, letting us know where they're connecting from. That's great. We are also live on Facebook. So for those of you that are joining us on Facebook right now, welcome. Feel free to add any comments and questions on Facebook as well. We are also recording this event. So if you missed something or you just want to watch it again, you can visit our website. It'll also be posted through our social media and Facebook for you to be able to watch it again. For those of you new to iEARN, I know we have some people joining us today who are experienced iEARN educators, some who have just joined, and some who are friends or supporters of iEARN. So I do want to give a quick overview of iEARN and the work that we do. iEARN, which is the International Education and Resource Network, began in 1988. So we are going on almost 31 years now of global collaboration. In 1988, an educator in New York State wanted to increase cross-cultural understanding and friendship between the US and the Soviet Union post-Cold War. So they connected their students and classrooms through, at that time, a very high-tech device called the Lumophone, where they would send rudimentary video feeds of themselves through a phone line. And so then in the last 31 years, that grew into what is now the international network of iEARN. And in this international network and family of global educators, we have educators and youth from over 140 countries who are connecting and collaborating on global projects through virtual exchange. These global projects that these educators are connecting in are all designed and facilitated by educators in our network. We have over 100 global projects that our members can choose from and participate in with their students. All of the projects are designed with a global project-based learning model. The connections and activities in the projects are done primarily asynchronously, which means students and teachers can connect on their own time. Oftentimes, our classrooms also engage in synchronous activities through video conferencing or events like this. The iEARN projects have a platform for each of the projects in our collaboration center that consists of discussion forums for students to engage in discussion and communication. They can also share media and classwork in that forum. And lastly, all of the iEARN global projects connect to diverse subject areas and languages. Since the start of iEARN, all of the projects have answered the question of how does this project improve life on the planet or life on Earth? And since the UN Sustainable Development Goals came out, we have been able to align all of our current iEARN projects to one or more of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And you will see throughout this project and this presentation today which projects align to which SDGs. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. We are excited to showcase 6 different iEARN projects during this exhibition. You will see the virtual peace education camp, finding solutions to hunger, folk costumes around the world, around the globe, International Book Club, the Teddy Bear Project, and the Future Citizens Project. We have guest hosts for you today. So Tamar and her students from Georgia are going to be presenting. They're going to kick us off today by presenting on the virtual peace education camp, but they are also going to be our guest hosts. So they will be introducing each of the presentations today. So I am going to go ahead and hand things over to Tamar and her students to kick us off.
From my guests from Georgia, from my school. So here I am to present my project that is called Virtual Peace Education Camp. It is just a joint project from a Korean friend, Crystal Kim and mine. And so here they are my students who will present them. The goals are written here. This Virtual Peace Education Camp invited children just to talk about what peace meant to them and how they feel towards peace. The project practice all the values and attitudes which were important in order to develop a healthy human. And here I am, and here just I want my students to present them. And instead of me talking here and standing here, my students will present them. Okay, thank you very much. And here are my students.
Hello, my name is Nia. Today we're going to represent you the things that will make you travel in your wonderful world. We're going to represent you iEARN's final product, that is memory book. We put our feelings and our memories that we accumulated for 1 year, and now we're ready to talk about each week and also make our memories real. Let's get started. Hello, my name is Maria, and I'm going to present peace values. Peace education has its values, attitudes, and skills. During the project, we all practice these values. Respect, love, tolerance, positive vision are the values that we used for our activities. The great emphasis was on empathy, listening and understanding the diverse perspective to create a better world.
Hello, my name is Nada. Today I want to talk about peace formula. What is peace? Peace is what we need in our lives. Peace is not just one thing, it includes values. I want to talk about the most important values of peace because of that I created peace formula. Maybe you ask, why close facts? As you know, close facts catch clothes, but my close facts catch my dreams and wishes. My peace formula is equality plus self-confidence times happiness plus love, freedom, friendship, and minus hate. We just need to think about how to change our world in a better way.
Hello, I'm Giga, and here we have a peace pole. And peace pole is a handwriting ornament which displays the phrase the peace may prevail on earth, different languages. If you write that, Platon can speak. Thanks.
Hello guys, my name is Mariam, and this is our Milky Way and our planets. All the planets have their own opinion about peace, and the peace planet, the main planet, it kept all the opinions about the peace which was our planet said, and also adds that peace has colorful distributions. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Mary from School Gymnasium IHS, and now I want to show you my artwork, what I did at week 5 and 6. As you see, my painting has two sides. One side is for real words, and another side is for the world what we are dreaming about and where we want to be. On the one side, there is a soldier who wants to save the world and have a happy family. And on the other side, there is a boy who is smiling and who is careless because he knows that he lives in a peaceful world.
Hello, I am here. My name is Barbara, and I want to represent you this tree as a symbol of world peace. For me, this tree is the earth, and the leaves are people on earth. They are all together to make the world better to live in. Peace brings the world together. And remember, peace begins with us, from here, from my adjacent iron. Thank you, iron, very much.
Hello everybody, I'm Mary, and today I'll be telling you shortly about all of those peace signs. We made these peace signs for a project called Peace Art Day. We made them because we wanted to show people how caring and loving they should be towards other people. For example, this was made with a lot of buttons, and this was made with a lot of artificial flowers. You can make any of those peace signs, but all you have to do is you have to put there all of their love and support for other people. Hello, my name is Gato, and I made those drawings. For me, first association of the word peace is pigeon, and I stuck those feathers on pigeon for maximal reality. The second symbol of peace reminds me of Earth, so I stitched people from all over the world, to show that every country and every human needs peace, and they are equal. So I colored them because of the love and friendship.
Hi, my name is Mari, and we decided to send a message to world president because we wanted to express our thoughts and ideas about world peace, and we thought it would be more creative and interesting if we did this on a puzzle. So here is our message on this puzzle, and now we're going to share our opinions with you.
If the world came together, we could create new ideas. We could live in a world where none of us have to worry. We could create better government, and we could experience amazing things. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. President. Keep us safe, and thank you. Sincerely, Mary and Mary.
Thank you, Arya, so much for giving us this amazing opportunity. We love you. Bye. Thank you, Aryan, for this possibility. Now, if the world came together, we could create new ideas, and we could live in the world where nobody has to worry and everybody has to experience something different. Thank you.
Okay, here I am. So my students have just finished our presentation. So I think that we are in time. And now we can give time to just another presenter.
Yes, great. Thank you so much to the students and to you, Tamar, for that fantastic presentation. It was wonderful to hear all of their ideas as well as see the actual physical products that they created. That was wonderful. A great way to kick off our exhibition today.
Thank you very much. And now, just instead of me, my students will present. They will be co-hosts.
Oops, sorry, Tamar. You're a bit quiet. If you could either turn your volume up or speak up a little bit, that would be great.
Okay, so instead of me, my students will be co-hosts. And here we want to present another, just the second presenter from just finding solution to hunger. And here is my students who will present it.
So now we welcome Japan with the project of finding solutions to hunger. Finding Solutions to Hunger is a project in which students of all ages begin to understand the root causes of hunger in the world and to take meaningful action for its elimination. Aligned with the second UN Sustainable Development Goal to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture, students of all ages, grade levels, and English speaking, writing skills bring their strengths and ideas into collaboration with another to find solution. The teacher is Sayuri Hasegawa. She's been in iEARN for 2 years with the students post-secondary ESL from Meiji Gakuin University in Tokyo, Japan. Welcome.
Hi, Sayuri. If you could turn your video on before presenting, that would be great. Perfect.
Right. Okay, thank you so much for a wonderful introduction from Georgia. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sayuri, and I'm very pleased to be joining iEARN's virtual project exhibition from Japan, Midnight Japan. My presentation, Finding Solutions to Hunger, Building Knowledge into Action, a Topic 9 lesson, is about a very unique collaborative learning experience between two groups of learners. Next slide, please. Mary, our facilitator, helped these two groups meet each other. One group was Zunaira's elementary school children at Bloomfield Hall School, Lahore, Pakistan. And the other group was my third-year EFL students in the Education and Child Development Program at Meiji Gakuin University in Tokyo, Japan. I had some future elementary school teachers here, and over emails and WhatsApp, Zunaira and I agreed on having my future teachers be sub-partners to develop and deliver a 145-minute lesson to her children as part of their ongoing studies with Zero Hunger. And this is the Finding Solutions to Hunger project, 10 topics, each of which have lesson ideas and activities. We chose topic 9, building knowledge into action, and decided on a lesson that centered around reading one of the suggested books called One Hen. The next slide shows the book, One Hen, a story about how one small loan made a big difference, and about a poor and hungry boy in Ghana, who borrows a small loan to buy one brown hen, which lays eggs for him to sell. Gradually, he's able to buy more hens, sell more eggs, buy food for himself and his mother, return the loan, go to school, and eventually build a farm, all from just one small loan and one hen. So with this book in mind, the next slide shows the lesson plan developed by my students. Details are posted in the topic 9 folder, but it consisted of an introduction to meet and greet, a quiz to lead into the topic of hunger, a slightly adapted One Hen story, and followed by discussion questions and summarizing the learning in the closing. Students were grouped to be responsible for preparing and delivering each part. Delivering a lesson, as you can imagine, as a student is quite an ordeal, and in a foreign language at that is another story. It involved teamwork, research, ideas, and developing English scripts, amongst others. Next slide, please. So how did we manage this lesson? To overcome 8 hours difference and our time constraints, our partners in Pakistan offered to arrive at school by 7:30 in the morning. So my students were fortunate enough to meet directly with the children in Pakistan live on Skype to deliver their 45-minute lesson. And here they are in the next slide. The four big photos show them in Japan. The smaller photos are as they appeared on Skype in Pakistan. The top left students are the introduction teachers who successfully helped break the ice between two groups who met for the first time. Bottom left, hunger quiz teachers led the children into the topic of hunger. Top right are the One Hen readers who practiced hard for clarity and effectiveness. Bottom right are the discussion question leaders, leading children to think, to reflect, and provide new ideas for solutions to hunger. And next slide shows photos from Pakistan's end, and to give you a feel of the live exchange and the collaborative learning that took place. So what's different about our world maps? 800 million people are hungry in the world? How many hungry people in Japan? What would you buy with a small loan instead of one hen? Answer, I would buy a baby sheep to get milk and cheese. So after an invaluable 45 minutes, we had to part. Arigato and shukriya. And the next slide summarizes my student reflections written in English and posted on the forum. On the lesson, there was a shift from anxiety to relief the moment they met the children in person. On hunger, there was surprise about Japan's situation on hunger as they researched, and hope that people would consider and act on the discrepancy between leftover food and lack of food. And on building knowledge into action, students mentioned the importance of thinking about and sharing ideas for action. And on iEARN's significance, it was experiencing otherness, self, and reality, recognizing these values as important aspects for children's education for themselves to provide in the future. And so it was a unique case of the Finding Solutions to Hunger project, but I was really very proud of my students who took on the challenge and delivered well, I think. And it was certainly an experience that deepened thoughts at all levels from various angles. And with that comes my final slide. On behalf of myself and my students, thank you to our friends at Bloomfield Hall School, and thank you to the iEARN community for this priceless experience. Thank you very much.
Now I want to welcome Romania in project for costumes around the globe. This project is meant to give the students a chance to share their folk, national costumes, traditions and dances in order to promote their folklore and traditions. The students will provide pictures of folk costumes together with a short description of them and give information about the occasions when people use or used to wear them. The teacher is Cornelia Platon. She's been in iEARN for 23 years, and she teaches at Alexandra University.
Oh, there she is.
Yes, welcome, Cornelia.
Thank you. What a nice surprise to be introduced in such a wonderful way. I am Cornelia Platon from Romania, and I have been coordinating this folk costumes project for so many years. It's one of the oldest projects in iEARN, and I started it after visiting Budapest, attending the iEARN conference in Budapest in 1996. So I would like to share with you some facts about the project and the history of the project, how it come to what it is today, how it has come to what it is today. I started in sending an invitation to iEARN teachers, and I was so wonderfully surprised to see so many people who are teachers and students who are interested in the project. So I started it. And please move to the next slide. Thank you. Well, at the beginning, I thought that would be great to organize a big virtual gallery with folk costumes from all over the planet, because at that time I didn't think that what would come out of this attempt of this project. But in time I realized that more and more students and teachers wanted to participate, and they sent me a lot of materials at that time by email. Then I uploaded them on the forum. So gradually we have come to what we have today and what technology has opportunities and chances has given us today. Thank you. Move to the next, please, slide. The next slide. So you can see here some pictures from the project forum. It was first on culture forum, and then it has got its own forum for costumes around the globe forum. Few images here from media gallery. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes, well, there are so many class activities in order to participate in the project and to integrate the project into curriculum. For me, it was great because teaching English, it was a wonderful opportunity for me to integrate it into curriculum and to give my students different tasks. And when they had to do more than just writing and reading in English, it was more excitement proved by them. And so they played the reporters. We organized workshops, exhibitions, traditional dinners at the different celebrations, and even dolls dressed in folk costumes made by students. You can see in the right a picture down in the right. Those dolls were dressed up in clothes made by my students. Next, please. Next slide. Well, there are so many national and international festivals, so students participated directly in them live, or they just were attendees and they were like reporters. They took interviews to the artists, asking them about their folk costumes, and then they uploaded the information and the photos on the project forum. And a very interesting activity which I could do with the different classes was to visit villages which still preserve their traditions and their folk costumes, and old people in the village, old women, shared with us from their traditional work and how they make it, how they prepare, how they weave the wool and the cotton and all these materials, textiles they make the clothes of. Please move to the next slide. Well, it's a very interesting way of improving the image of how the peasants, the villagers, used to live in the past by visiting these outdoor museums. I think they are in every country. In our countries we have few, and I took my students to visit, and then they enrich their imagination and their way of seeing how people used to live in that time. Also, there's museums of ethnology, which gave them the possibility to see a lot of different and varied folk costumes from different parts of Romania. Yes, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, then a very interesting way of making the students be aware of what they have to do and what their grandparents and great-grandparents did in the past was to have them provide and participate in these activities that well, like art craftsmanship. They did themselves, they performed themselves, they learned how to sew, how to prepare the materials in order to make the folk costumes, and how they were made, and all these things helped them a lot to improve their knowledge about the diversity of the folk costumes. Yes, folk costumes project was presented at very different festivals and conferences and workshops and seminars, and the iEARN conferences started with Spain in 1997, Japan, China, South Africa, the Netherlands, and many other summits and iEARN conferences and summits for students were the place where I could present this project. And something that was a very good result of this cooperation in the project was students and teachers exchanges. And I'm very happy to share with you that we had 2 exchanges with St. Mark's School in New Delhi, India. We visited their school and then they visited our school. So we shared not only the folk traditions and costumes, but also other cultural aspects of our countries. And that made a lot of difference in our perspective on the two countries. Next slide, please. Well, a few benefits. Besides the fact that it develops students' ICT, communication and language skill, considering that the majority of the participant students do not have their native language, English, they had a lot of learned a lot of vocabulary, enrich their vocabulary with words that they do not study in school, they are not into curriculum. So this was an important benefit. Also, the project gave the students the chance to increase their their interest in the national and international traditions and values, and to change their mind about the world and to understand better each other. Also, these cultural exchanges became more prolific, as I mentioned before, and they helped students to promote their traditions. Of course, student-teachers collaboration without any kind of barriers, and certainly the students have become better prepared to face a multicultural global society. And this would be one of the most important benefits of the project, because when I launched it 22 years ago, I didn't imagine that it would have such a huge impact on educating our students for being prepared to this multicultural global society. Next slide, please. Well, here are a few screenshots from the project's website. There have been over 60 countries during all these years, hundreds of school and students and teachers who participated in the project. So I just took some screenshots from the pages from all the participating countries. You see those small flags representing the countries. And I'm very happy to share it with you and to invite you to see the website of the project if you like. And a new website is under construction. So very soon I will share it with you. Yes, please, next slide. Well, folk costumes, diversity and cultural heritage. This is very important for all of us to understand, no matter of age, from very early age up to older to adults, that folk costumes, folk traditions, all that represent our cultural heritage, our diversity should be preserved, should be transmitted from generation and generation. And how else than not using the power, the strength of the new technologies? This is something that would motivate our students to participate in this project. I'm so happy I had the chance to share it with you. I kindly welcome you, students and teachers, and even those who are not here now, please share this invitation to participate in the project. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite you to a very short presentation of folk dance performed by my students, typical for Transylvania, the region, the beautiful region where I live. Thank you very much, and I enjoy the video.
Thank you so much, Cornelia. Unfortunately, we don't have time to watch the video, but we'll make sure to share it out with the attendees. And we will share that out following in the recording. It was so wonderful to listen to the history of your project and see how many countries you have reached in the folk costumes project. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
Great. For those attending, we will make sure to share out her video since we don't have enough time to share it today. I will hand things back over to the students in Georgia to introduce our next presenters.
Hello, so in the name of my group, I want to say a big thank you to Japan and Romania for an excellent presentation. We would like to make collaboration with Romania because we really like their media gallery, and we also have very unique traditions, and I think it would be great to make collaboration with you. So next will be International Book Club. Reading gives us knowledge. Knowledge gives us power to improve our lives and the world. Collaborate to read and discuss books that connect to sustainable development goals. The goals of International Book Club include promote global literacy, increase awareness of understanding of sustainable development goals through reading, provide forum for exchange of knowledge and insight gained from reading, provide recommendations of multicultural literature and books related to goals, develop 21st century skills. Next slide, please. So, International Book Club is a joint project by United States and Palestine. This project is presented by teacher Cindy Evarts, who is teaching in Winesburg, in West Virginia, and Lamia Tamimi, who is teaching in Harvard, Palestine. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Cindy, and this is my 7th grade class here, and we participated in the International Book Club. We partnered with a class with Lamia's class in Hebron, Palestine, and I'm going to let the students tell a little bit about it. We started by introducing ourselves on Flipgrid, say that, and where we were able to video little introductions of each other. And then we began by reading a book, and I'm going to let my students tell about that.
Hi, I'm Layla. And I'm Ruby. And so after we did the Flipgrid, we started by reading this book called Golden Domes and Silver Lanterns, and it's a book of Muslim book of colors, so it kind of shows the different colors of their culture. And so then we decided to each class decided to make a book about their own colors of their culture. And so now we're going to share with you what we decided for American culture colors.
So next slide, please. Okay. All right. Okay, so this was the beginning. We called it Broad Stripes and Bright Stars, a Rainbow of American Culture. And go ahead, next slide.
And this was our dedication page to our friends in Hebron, Palestine, and we just put all their names and our different flags to show our connection.
Next slide. Red. Sam.
I'm Lucy. And I'm Layla. And so our first red color was red is the cardinal that sings of sounds of spring after a long cold winter. And then we picked different other American red things. So there were crisp nectarines, there were Coca-Cola cans, and the red of the brick in our school building. Next slide.
Next slide.
And then there were also the American flag, the red stripes of the American flag, red cherries, red leaves in the fall, and red soup. And so now we're going to do the next color.
Okay. Next slide, please.
I'm Kyler, and our color was orange, and we chose to represent all the cartoons and TV shows that we think American culture needs. So we chose on the TV shows Garfield, characters Pluto and Ernie from Mickey Mouse and Sesame Street, and we think that these are important because these help all of our children for the future. They're teaching them morals, by teaching them values, and by even being funny. And next slide.
Okay, so yellow.
I'm Ruby.
I'm Amanda.
So we did all of the things that remind us about America, in our culture that are yellow. So we have different cartoon characters, our yellow school buses, our taxis, and other games and stuff. Next slide. We also have the giant fields of sunflowers, more of our favorite yellow cartoon characters, our state's football team, the Mountaineers, their colors are blue and gold. Next slide.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm Patrick, and we chose green as well as our color. We have our football fields that our players play football on. We have our cartoon character Oscar the Grouch, who's green. We have a green apple that we like to eat for snacks, and we have our Statue of Liberty, and we also have a Christmas tree up in the top right corner that represents Christmas and peanuts.
So next slide, please.
Are we doing that one?
Yeah.
We
Next slide.
My name is Alex. I'm Josh. On this slide, we tried to focus on different things in American culture that are colored blue. So we chose our oceans, we chose blueberries, which is a type of fruit. We chose the Smurfs because they're a very popular cartoon. We also chose our statewide football team.
Next slide. And one more.
I'm Phoebe.
And I'm Victoria.
Some white things in American culture are some white daisies, the traditional white wedding dresses.
And there are lots of different flowers that we see in everyday life in America, and the snow that happens.
Next slide. Two. And the next slide also, Nesson's on crutches, so it may take him a second to get up here. But Nesson did brown, and he focused a lot on food, which is very important to these students' American culture anyway.
So a big brown food in America is French fries, steak, and fried chicken. Next slide. And a big part of American culture is football, and the ball that they use is brown. And we have lots of trees in America, and they're brown. And brown is the soil we walk on. And stereotypical in America is like cowboys, and their hat is usually brown. And there's brown boxes, which are used to ship things around the world.
Thank you, Nessa. Next slide, please. And that's our class, and that's for us. And then in return, Lami's class then sent a video. She sent another PowerPoint, which is very long, but there were a few slides that were interesting to show the different colors in their culture. They started a lot like us, so to show the connection between our two cultures. And you can just flip through a couple of these where the kids loved the henna. That was one thing that they were really interested in. And they were also very interested in the food, of course, because they were interested in their own food, so that we wanted to try to taste a lot of these. The falafel slide, we all wanted to try that. So then after we finished this, we asked them questions because we had a lot of questions from their presentation, and Lami's students made a video to answer our questions, and they sent questions to us, and we're in the process of doing a news show video to answer their questions, and we're hoping to get it done very soon because we're running out of time. And I think we've run out of time also, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. And to all of the students at Martinsburg. That was wonderful. What a great way to make a one-on-one connection with another class and create such a beautiful product that can be shared out.
Thank you for your presentation. We like the vibrant colors and how you drew the line between colors and objects, and also mouth-watering dishes. We liked everything about the project. So now I'm going to present to you the teddy bear project. This project aims to foster tolerance and understanding of cultures other than your own. Classes send each other a teddy bear or other soft toy by airmail, through the normal postal system. The bears send home diary messages by email or through the iEARN teddy bear form at least once a week. The facilitator of this project is the teacher Liubov Shamova, who has been in iEARN for 19 years and teaches in Kharkov Specialized School 75 in 6th grade, which is located in Kharkov, Ukraine. Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. It was very nice to listen to different projects and to see the students participated in them. And now our hello from Ukraine, and we'd like to tell you about our participation in the project, the Teddy Bear Project. My students, I invited some students who participated in it, and they now will tell you about their exciting work. Okay, let's start. It's yours. Okay, begin.
My name is Alina. My name is Sasha. My name is Lisa. My name is Lena. My name is Masha. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Our school is very interesting place. There are a lot of subjects like math, Russian, Ukrainian, biology, geography. All family science and learning English language. Our school is specialized in learning foreign languages. We think that the best project of this year for us was the Teddy Bear Project. This project aims to foster tolerance and understanding of cultures other than your own. We are lucky that we have found good partners. Our partners were the students. Were the students of school, which junior high school with their teacher Cindy Van from Taiwan.
Next slide, please.
Next slide.
Next slide, please.
First of all, we get in touch with our partners and tell them about us and our school. They did the same. Our task was to send Teddy Bear and something special to our friends. So we found a small bear and sent the frame used for it. It was rather joyful work. Then we decided to prepare a special card and write about that our beautiful city home. You can see this slide in the
you can see the pictures.
In these pictures in the slide. We bought some sweets, put all things into the butter and sent it to Taiwan.
Next slide, next slide.
Next slide.
Excuse me, Liubov, it's a bit difficult to hear the students. It might be better if they can come close to the computer where you are to speak.
Okay, we'll do it. Right.
Great, thank you.
Here because it's very tough. Move this table. Move this table. Oh, let's take it. Let's stand up and come to the and speak. Okay. Push on. Кто говорит? Господи. Саша, сядь сюда, ближе сказали. Вот сюда. Не слышно ничего.
We took part into the project for the first time and waited the person from Taiwan. At last we got it. What a great surprise! It was so huge. Over it, everything was unusual.
Okay, next slide. Next slide.
Next slide, please.
Sit down.
It was possible to eat some snacks without cooking through. So we laid the tables and tried everything we could. Some students prepared a piece of information about Taiwan. Next slide, please. I invited my friend Teddy Bear in my house and we eat Taiwan spaghetti and plain apple pie. It was so fantastic and delicious. We had a great time together. I took Teddy Bear at home and put some water with Teddy Bear. I like Teddy Bear.
Okay. And if you can, our friends our we can see the way in front of the school. So we are excited that we find such a nice friend. And even which we did not take during our summer camp. So, so we were lucky this year, and it was very great to participate in this project with my students. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Say goodbye. Goodbye.
So the next, thank you so much.
Sorry, everyone. It seems like there might be some connection issues. Let's just give it a couple of seconds and see if it clears up. All right, it seems like there might be a bit of a connection issue. So I'm actually going to go ahead and mute the students from Georgia just for a minute. I hope you can hear clearly. We got almost to the end without any technical difficulties. So I'll go ahead and introduce our last presentation. Unfortunately, oops, sorry, just a second. Unfortunately, our presenter for the last presentation was unable to attend. And so we are going to share a really short video on his behalf. He was a part of the Future Citizens Project. The Future Citizens Project focuses on the rights and duties of the citizen, tolerance and freedom, civic responsibility and engagement. Students in this project research laws, elections, and governmental systems in their own country, as well as complete a service learning project, such as a voter registration drive, volunteering for a candidate, volunteering at polls, or writing letters to government officials about important community issues. So I am going to share a video today from Mohammed Abdelwahib Chahitelma, who is from Algeria. He has been in iEARN for 2 years now. He joined with the Bridge program and participated in the Future Citizens Project with the Bridge program. So I am going to share a short video of him and his students sharing about their project. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, everyone, our apologies. It looks like there are some internet connection issues on our end, and the streaming and sharing of our screen is not looking very clear to everybody. So instead of viewing and screening this video right now, we will make sure to share out the video with everybody afterwards, so you can see and read about Mohammed's great work in the Future Citizens Project. So we do have about 4 minutes left, so I am going to open it up. If anybody who is attending has any questions for any of the presenters that have presented so far today, feel free to type your questions into the chat box. So I'll give everybody just a minute now. If you have any questions for our presenters, feel free to type them into the chat box. And as you are typing them in there, I do want to share with everybody that we do have one more exhibition session taking place today. It is going to take place at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And at that exhibition, we'll be showcasing the Talking Kites project, My Identity, Your Identity, some other classrooms also presenting on finding solutions to hunger, as well as One Day in the Life. So if you are available and would like to join us again in an hour, feel free to do so at 1 p.m. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you see all the presenters big on the camera. I do have one question coming in that is, what are some of the other book titles that the International Book Club participants have read or might read in the future? So if Cindy Evarts wants to share, one of her students would like to answer that.
I'll share it. Okay, do you want to share?
All right.
Sure.
What did we read this year?
Oh, I'll share.
We read A Long Walk to Water, and some other classes read
Refugee.
And
what were some others?
Interesting.
Faye is here, and she actually heads up the International Book Club, so she could answer that question. We read Long Walk to Water, and then we read Golden Domes and Silver Lanterns, but there are others.
Right. Some of the other schools that participated read Refugee, The Water Princess, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. But we encourage teachers who want to get involved in the International Book Club to do what Cindy and Lamia did, to partner. And we feature some books so that you can select basically any book and then collaborate with each other about what your students will do through reading, writing, and technology to learn more about the SDGs and also about each other. We welcome you and invite you to join us.
Great, thank you so much. And I want to give a special thank you to the students from Georgia who did a fantastic job hosting and introducing each of our presenters today, as well as kicked off the session with a great presentation on their virtual peace education camp. And then also a big thank you to all of our presenters today, to Sayuri in Japan, to Cornelia in Romania, Cindy Evarts and her students here in the US, Liubov and her students from Ukraine. Thank you all so much for taking the time to present and share your wonderful project work.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Great. You are all unmuted now, so feel free to say a quick goodbye, everybody, to everybody who's attending.
Bye.
Bye. And for those of you that attended on Zoom today, thank you so much for joining. 1 p.m.
Rachel, could we have the recording of the session?
Yes, we have recorded this, so we will share out the recording for everybody.
Okay, thank you. I will share it with my students.
Great. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you all. Bye-bye.